I couldn't believe the words coming out of my father's mouth. I just stood there, the phone pressed to my ear, the sound of my own shaky breathing echoing in the otherwise silent room. My heart wasn't just sinking, it was shattering into a million icy pieces, and the shards were tearing through my chest. For years, I had bent over backward, pouring my financial lifeblood into them. A steady stream of $7, 100 every single week **. I was essentially paying them a small salary, a private pension, just to keep the peace and maybe, just maybe, earn a shred of respect. But that day, they showed me exactly what all that money, all that effort, and all that love was truly worth. They skipped my daughter, Lily's 5th birthday party. Not because of a sudden emergency, not because of traffic, but because, as my father so casually and coldly put it, **, your child means nothing to us. **, I want you to tell me right now, before I even tell you the rest of this devastating story. Was I wrong for what I did next? Would you have found the strength to cut off the very people who raised you after a single, brutal sentence like that? Just think about that number, $700 a week, 50, 2 weeks a year. That's $36 for 100 annually, straight out of my pocket, sent to them like clockwork. Now, let me take you back to the beginning, because to understand the crushing finality of that moment, you need to understand the history of financial and emotional obligation that led up to it. My relationship with my parents, let's call them Mom and Dad, was never one of easy, unconditional love. It was a transaction. From a very young age, I was the sensitive, artistic one, the dreamer. My older brother, Mark, was the golden child, the perfect son. He was a successful engineer, married to a successful lawyer, and every accomplishment he ever achieved was immediately broadcast to the world as a testament to my parents' stellar parenting. I, on the other hand, was always slightly disappointing. I chose a less traditional, more creative career path that took a while to truly take off. When I finally started making good money, and I mean really good money, my parents didn't see an achievement. They saw a resource. The financial arrangement started subtly. First, it was a request for a small loan to help cover an unexpected medical bill. Then it became a regular contribution to their retirement fund. Finally, after a long, tearful conversation where my mother essentially guilt-tripped me by detailing all the sacrifices they made for me as a child, sacrifices I hadn't asked for. By the way, it solidified into the infamous $700 weekly payment **. I rationalized it to myself every single week when the transfer went out. I told myself it was my way of ensuring they were comfortable, my way of thanking them, my way of showing them I was successful and responsible. But deep down, I knew I was buying their affection, or at least, buying their silence and the cessation of their constant criticism. It bought me peace. It bought me a temporary reprieve from being reminded of all my supposed failings compared to Mark. For 5 years, this was my life. I had Lily, my beautiful, bright-eyed daughter, and suddenly my world revolved around her. The $700 payments didn't stop, even after I had a child and my own expenses skyrocketed. If anything, the pressure subtly increased. My mother would often call, not to ask about Lily, but to check if I had remembered to send the money yet, or sometimes even to ask if I could front them a little extra for a nice vacation or a new appliance. They were living a comfortable life, financed in large part by me, while I was carefully budgeting my own growing family's needs. Lily's birthdays were always a big deal to me. Her 5th birthday was especially important because 5 felt like such a milestone. I had spent weeks planning a small, intimate party at a local park. A princess-themed extravaganza, complete with a bouncy castle and a custom cake. I invited a few of her little friends and, of course, the grandparents. My parents RSVP'd enthusiastically, or so I thought. My mother even mentioned wanting to get Lily a big, fancy present, which I took as a sign that maybe, just maybe, they were finally seeing my child as an extension of me, as someone deserving of their genuine love, not just their obligated presence. I felt a rare flicker of hope that the dynamic was finally shifting, that they were finally going to act like real grandparents. The morning of the party was hectic but joyful. I was setting up the decorations, taping balloons, and trying to keep the cake safe from premature sampling. Lily was vibrating with excitement, wearing a little tiara and a huge grin. The guests started arriving, the bouncy castle was inflated, and the air was filled with the happy chaos of 5-year-olds. An hour went by, no mom and dad. I figured traffic must be terrible, but a quick text to my mother went unanswered. Another hour passed. We were getting ready to sing Happy Birthday. The cake was lit. The grandparents' Marks-in-laws, who were wonderfully sweet and supportive, were there, smiling and taking pictures. My parents were not. I felt a hot wave of humiliation wash over me, not for myself, but for Lily. She kept looking toward the entrance, her little face drooping a little more each time someone else walked in, who wasn't her grandma and grandpa. When it came time to open presents, she asked in a small, confused voice, ***, did grandma and grandpa forget about me? That question was a punch to the gut. I quickly spun a lie. Something about them having a flat tire, and that they would visit later with an even bigger present. I plastered a smile on my face, but inside I was shaking with suppressed anger and hurt. The party went on, but a dark cloud had settled over my joy. The moment the last guest left and Lily was tucked into bed, tired but still a little sad, I called my father. It was 8:00 p.m. I skipped the pleasantries. Dad, I started, my voice tight and strained. Why weren't you and Mom at the party? Lily was asking for you. You RSVP'd. What happened? There was a pause on the other end, a pause that lasted just a little too long. I could hear the television blaring in the background. They were clearly at home, relaxing. My mother must have been sitting right next to him. Oh, my father said, his tone utterly dismissive, as if I were asking about a forgotten errand or a small, insignificant event. We decided not to go. We had other things we wanted to do. Other things, I repeated, my voice rising. Dad, it was your only grandchild's *5th birthday. You didn't even call or text. Lily was heartbroken. I was planning this for weeks. This is where the conversation shifted from disappointing to deeply cruel. My father sighed, a sound of profound impatience, as if I** was the one making a fuss over nothing. Look, he said, and I could tell he was getting annoyed. It was just a kid's party. It's not like it was a major family event. Mark and Brenda's yacht club dinner was this weekend. That's important. He used that word important with an emphasis that felt like a slap. Then came the sentence, the one that broke the chain of obligation that had bound me to them for my entire adult life. I asked one final time, begging for a human explanation, but she's your granddaughter. Don't you care about her? And that's when he said it in that same flat, annoyed voice. Your child means nothing to us. She's not a priority. We have enough going on without having to sit through some loud, pointless kids' party. The air left my lungs. The television static in the background seemed to rush into my ears. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't even try to argue. All the years of subtle resentment, the constant guilt, tripping, the financial drain, the perpetual feeling of being second, best to Mark, it all crystallized into a moment of blinding, terrifying clarity. My life, my money, and my child were merely tools to them, useful only as a means to an end, or worse, completely expendable. I didn't say anything. I hung up the phone. I didn't even manage a goodbye. I just placed the phone back in its cradle, my hands visibly trembling. The shock was so profound that it took a moment for the anger to catch up. but when it did, it wasn't the kind of hot, temporary anger that fades. It was a cold, clean, surgical rage. The rage of being used, of being betrayed, and of seeing the innocence of my own child dismissed with such chilling indifference. I walked straight to my computer. The financial arrangement with them was set up via an automatic recurring transfer. I went into my bank's app, navigated to the transfer settings, and with one deliberate, shaking click, I canceled the recurring $700 payment **. Then I blocked their numbers, all of them, mom, dad, even the landline. I blocked them on social media. I wanted an immediate, complete, and total ** cut off **. I didn't sleep that night. I sat there in the dark, replaying the conversation. Your child means nothing to us. It wasn't just cruel. It was an admission. It was an admission that they only valued me for my resources, and that my daughter, who offered nothing to * them but innocent love, held no value at all. The silence of the house felt deafening, and yet, for the first time in years, a tiny, fragile sense of freedom began to bloom in the empty space where the guilt used to be. The quiet only lasted until the following Wednesday. That was the day the $700 transfer was scheduled to arrive in their account, and the day it did not. The first attempts at contact were text messages, starting off confused, then quickly escalating to demanding. "Where is the money? We have bills to pay. Call us back immediately. This isn't funny." I ignored them. They tried calling me from different numbers, but I recognized the local area code and simply sent them all to voicemail. I didn't return a single call. Then came the phone call to my husband, David. David is a wonderful man who had witnessed the bizarre financial dynamic for years and had gently tried to counsel me about it, always telling me that I owed them nothing. My father launched into a furious tirade, demanding to know why I was stealing their money and what was wrong with me. David, bless his heart, remained calm. He told my father, "She is not stealing anything, Dad. That was a gift, and she is no longer willing to give it. If you want to know why, you need to talk to her." My father hung up on him, too. The message was clear. They were entitled to that money. It wasn't an act of generosity. It was an expectation. So, that's the situation I was in. I had made the initial, decisive move to cut them off, but the fallout was just beginning. They were demanding the money back, acting as though I had committed a financial crime, all while refusing to acknowledge the truly devastating thing my father had said. I knew I had to hold firm. The thought of ever letting them near Lily again, after they deemed her worthless, made my stomach turn. I had finally, truly, found my backbone. Before I tell you what happened next, and how I dealt with the subsequent flood of manipulative calls and the ultimate confrontation, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done. In my shoes, would you have given in to the guilt and the pressure? Or would you have held the line for your child's sake, knowing that cutting off your parents might mean permanently losing all contact with the rest of that side of your family? What's the value of $700 a week versus your peace of mind and your child's dignity? I knew they wouldn't stop with David. They escalated their efforts. The next attempt was a certified letter, which I actually opened. It wasn't an apology. It was a legal, sounding demand for repayment of loans and outstanding family support obligations. They had tried to frame the $700 weekly payments as a debt I owed them, not a gift I was giving. It was ridiculous and insulting. I forwarded the letter to a lawyer friend who immediately laughed and sent back a one-sentence response for me to send. All payments made were voluntary gifts with no expectation of repayment. Any further communication must be directed through my legal counsel. That move briefly stunned them, but it didn't stop them. My mother moved on to the next phase, the emotional manipulation. She called David And when he refused to engage, she started calling Mark. Mark, the golden son, who had always been distant but not malicious, was now dragged into the fray. He called me, sounding genuinely conflicted. "Hey." He started awkwardly. "Look, I know Dad said something terrible. I really do. But Mom is an absolute wreck. She's crying all the time. They're saying they can't pay their mortgage without your help. Can't you just forgive them, maybe lower the payment, but don't cut them off completely? They are our parents, after all." I took a deep breath. I knew this was the moment I had to choose between my old, accommodating self and my new, protective self. "Mark," I said, my voice steady, "did you hear what Dad said? He said my child means nothing to them. Asterisk nothing asterisk. You didn't even come to the party. Did you call Lily to wish her a happy birthday? No. They made a choice to prioritize a fancy dinner over the happiness of their only granddaughter, and then they justified it by devaluing her. This isn't about money anymore. This is about self-respect and protecting my daughter. They want the money, but they don't want the granddaughter that money comes from. The $700 is non-negotiable now. The payments are done. If their life depends on my money, then their life depends on me treating them with respect, and they have lost that right. Tell them to sell the nice car I helped pay for, or to downsize from the big house I subsidized. They need to live within their means, not mine." Mark was silent for a long moment. He had never heard me speak with such finality. I don't know what to say," he mumbled. "Say this, Mark." I instructed, my voice sharp. "Tell them that I am not just cutting off the money. I am cutting off contact. I am done. If they want to scream and demand, they can talk to the lawyer, not me. This is the consequence of their own cruelty." I hung up. It felt like a massive weight had been lifted off my chest. I had finally used my financial power not to buy affection, but to enforce a boundary. The $36,400 a year was now staying in my account. I opened a savings account just for Lily and titled it the Granddaughter Fund. The first deposit was the money they had missed, and it felt incredible. It felt like the money was finally going where it was truly appreciated, to the child they had deemed nothing. The climax arrived a few weeks later. My parents, desperate and realizing I wasn't going to budge, decided to stage an ambush. They showed up unannounced at my house on a Saturday morning. I looked through the peephole and saw their angry, familiar faces on my porch. My heart started pounding, but I remembered Lily was inside, playing quietly. I took another deep breath. They weren't coming in. I opened the door only halfway, blocking the entrance with my body. They immediately started speaking over each other, a torrent of accusations. "How dare you cancel the money? Do you know what you've done? We are your parents." My mother shrieked, tears already streaming down her face in a performance she had perfected over decades. "You are breaking your mother's heart," my father roared, leaning toward the door. "You were obligated to help us. It was a duty. You owe us." I held up a hand, a gesture that immediately silenced them, because they had never, seen me assert myself like this. My voice was low, deadly calm, and unwavering. "You are absolutely right," I said. "I am done. I canceled the money, and I am cutting you off, and you know exactly why." My father spluttered. "It was a mistake, a bad joke. You're going to bankrupt us over a little comment. It's absurd, a little comment." I repeated, letting the full weight of the words hang in the air. "No, Dad," you said in reference to your granddaughter to my 5-year-old child, your child means nothing to us. That wasn't a joke. That was the truth you finally told me. That was the price tag you put on my daughter. Do you think $700 a week is enough to cover that kind of betrayal? Do you think I'm going to continue to fund your comfortable life when you actively dismiss the most important person in mine? The answer is no. You are right. You are my parents. But my first and most sacred duty is to the child I am raising. And I will not allow her to be near people who think she is nothing. You forfeited your right to my money, my time, and my respect the second that sentence left your lips." My mother tried one last desperate plea. "But we need the money. We sacrificed so much for you. And I repaid you. I shot back, my eyes locking on my father's. I repaid you with over $180,000 over 5 years. I paid your rent, I paid for your comfort, I paid for your affection, and you showed me it was all a lie. You want to talk about obligation. I am now obligated to protect my family, and that protection starts by showing you the door. I didn't wait for a response. I firmly shut the door, slid the deadbolt home, and leaned my head against the cool wood, my entire body shaking with the adrenaline of the confrontation. I heard them yelling for a minute, pounding on the door, but then the noise faded as they retreated. They never came back. The aftermath was exactly what I expected. The rest of my extended family, hearing a highly distorted version of the story from my parents, that I had stolen their retirement savings and abandoned them, sent a barrage of angry, judgmental emails. I chose to only respond to the few who asked for the full story, and I simply forwarded them the lawyer's letter and one carefully written email detailing the single, devastating sentence my father had used. Most remained silent. A few, my aunt and one cousin, apologized profusely and quietly started connecting with me and Lily separately. They understood that the parents' entitlement was the core problem. My life, after the initial shock and drama, settled into an immense, profound piece. The $700 a week now goes into Lily's college fund, and it grows steadily. That money, which was once a heavy chain of obligation, is now a source of financial security and freedom for my daughter. Lily is thriving. She has the love of a supportive father and 2 sets of doting in-laws, Mark's in-laws, who have unofficially adopted her, are fantastic. She never asks about my parents anymore. The sadness of that birthday party has been completely eclipsed by years of joyous, incident-free celebrations. I haven't heard a single word from my parents in over 3 years. The silence used to be a threat. Now it is a blessing. The only thing they truly cut off was their own access to my life and my wallet. The biggest lesson I learned from this whole devastating mess is that you cannot buy love, and you should never pay for respect. I wasted years and a small fortune trying to earn the affection of people who were fundamentally incapable of prioritizing anyone but themselves. That final, cruel statement was the one gift they ever truly gave me. The truth, stark and painful, that allowed me to finally break free. If you are stuck in a similar cycle of financial and emotional obligation, let my story be your sign. Your peace, your dignity, and especially the well-being of your children are worth far more than any misguided sense of family duty. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, but I'm stronger for it. Like this video, if you were on my side, and believe I did the right thing to protect my daughter. Subscribe for more true, intense stories, like this one, and please, share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. I'll see you all in the next story.